Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are going to be doing what I call the Dalis Bow. Yes, it is in Christmas colors. I'm doing a Christmas in July themed event. So I figured while I was making bows for that event, I would show you guys how to make this Dalis bow. I will link all of the ribbons used here in the description box below for you guys. So what you are going to need is you are going to need all 1.5 inch grograin, one 10-inch long piece. Mine is already creased in the center. You are going to need a 25-inch long piece, again creased in the center. A 12-inch piece, again creased in the center. These work best if you use either 2 solids and 1 print or 2 prints and 1 solid. It tends to break it up a little bit, but that's just my personal preference. You can use all solids, that's up to you. You are also going to need 4 5.5-inch pieces, V-cut at the ends, because these will end up being spikes. You need the clip of your choice, lined if it needs to be. You are going to need a lighter, pair of scissors. Oh, there we go. You are going to need a glue gun, needle and thread. You are going to, it's recommended, not required, but using a foam block, and you will see why. This is just made out of some cosmetic sponges that I got in a pack at Walmart. Helpful but not needed is a salon clip, and also an extra is some rhinestone mesh. As you can see, it's in red and green. I haven't decided which color I'm going to use yet to embellish this, but we'll get to that when I get to it. So to start off with, take your needle and thread if you're using the foam or sponge little rectangle. You can use foam sheets and just glue a bunch together to do this as well. Sink your needle down into the little block. Take your first piece, which is the 10-inch piece. I fold it in half just so I know I find the very center. Put it down on the needle. You're going to take your 25-inch piece and do the same, folding it in half, putting it down on the needle, but turning it. So instead of going left to right, you are going up and down with it. So it makes a cross shape. Now what I do next is take the bottom. I was ahead of myself mentally, sorry. Of the 25-inch piece, put it on the needle like so. Take the top, do the same. Make sure that there is a little bit of ribbon that hangs past your needle. And for this one, you want, obviously, the ribbons to overlap. It makes a figure 8. Turn it so the loops are going up and down, like that. And the shorter piece of ribbon is hanging off to the sides. So it should look like this right about now. Take one side of the shorter piece of ribbon, thread it onto the needle like you did with these. Make sure again to leave a little bit of ribbon hanging off. Do the same with the other side. You want the ribbon hanging off so that the needle doesn't pull through the ribbon and it comes loose. So at this point, this is what you have. You're going to take your 12-inch piece, find the center, put it down onto the needle. I turn the whole thing at this point because you're going to find the center of the loop. I usually take left to right on this and thread it on the needle. Make sure that these ribbons all are parallel. Take the other side. Shift it a bit. Take the other side and thread it onto the needle in the center. Again, making sure the ribbons are all parallel. At this point, you have this. You're going to take the ribbon hanging off and again thread it, making sure there's a little bit of ribbon between the needle and the end of the ribbon. And at this point, you have this. We're going to put this aside for just a moment so we can get the spikes going. Some tutorials on this will have you take it apart, take it off, and do the wrapping and everything. I don't. I leave it because I don't stitch up it. I will show you how I finish this off, but you're just going to lay out the spikes in whatever pattern you wish. I think I like that. Let me just make sure it's lined up. You want your spikes to be touching, slightly overlapping, but you want it to look like that basically. Take your salon clip, holding down one side of the spikes, leaving the other side free so that you can slide this in, pick everything up. You can do this without the clip. It's just easier so that they don't shift too much. No matter how you do it, they will shift ever so slightly. Bring the bow back. Take the clip off with your spikes, the top of your spikes facing down. And get them onto the needle, making sure to hit the center. So at this point, everything is threaded on the needle, and I did not hit the center. It's okay though. We all make mistakes bow making. I like to leave my mistakes in so you guys can see that mistakes do happen. Alright. I pull my needle and thread straight through so that everything is held together. And then what I do is just wrap the thread around fully once. Just like that. You want space in front of you so that you can lay this down. Holding it down I usually put one finger on either side of the thread, holding it down, and then just pulling the thread tight. Like that. Wrap around a couple times more. Make sure to pull tight. And then you want to knot off on the back. I have the thread wrapped around my wrist. Not a big deal. Pull tight. Well, there we go. I didn't get through the thread and I knotted that thread. Again, mistakes happen, as you can see. I tend to leave them in so that you guys, again, can see that they actually do happen. We're gonna come over here. There we go. And you're going to cut off the excess thread. Now it's time to shape your bow. I have this just one little piece here that is not coming out. I'm like legit chasing this piece of ribbon. There we go. What I do is I thread my fingers into these loops and just give a little tug so they come loose and go the way they're supposed to. That is the shape that you want. We are going to glue the spikes at this moment. This one is not coming out. Stuck. There we go. And we are just going to glue the spikes together so that they stay fanned out perfectly. You can skip the step if you want. I just prefer that my spikes stay the way I intended them to. Have a little bit of glue leakage, take your lighter and just run it over. And just glue all of your spikes so they're fanned out the way you want them to be. You're going to end up smushing your bow just a little bit. That's fine. We will reshape it before we wrap the center, adding the clip and all of that. Like I said, you don't need to glue your spikes together. I just prefer that they stay fanned out. To me, the bow looks better this way, but it is up to your personal preference. Or if you make bows to sell, your customer's preference. If you normally don't glue your spikes together, you're probably not going to be gluing these together. Like I said, you're going to end up smushing the bow just a little bit in the process of gluing the spikes, and that's fine. You can come back and do some reshaping. Like so. Again, remember, if you want to get the loops even, just stick your fingers up inside of the loops and give them a little bit of a yank. It also helps to pull out the bow and get it shaped right. At this point, you are going to add your clip. We will give it one final shaping before we put it in to stiffen. A little bit of a glue seepage issue. Wrap the center. My spikes are all wonky. I am going to fix those. I do not know why they're going all over the place. Wrap the center. Make sure to pull as snug as you can with the ribbon. It just helps to hold everything all together more snugly. Cut off any excess, heat seal the cut ends. There's a lot of shaping with this bow. If you find you don't like the loops sticking out as much from shaping, you can tuck them back into these loops on the sides. Alright, and at this point the bow is done. You can put it over to stiffen. I recommend stiffening this bow because it does get crumpled really easy. However, I did show you the rhinestone mesh, and I did say we were going to use this on a bow. I think I'm going to put the red in the center. I'm going to cut off a piece, but I do not need 3 wide. I only need 2 wide to cover the 3/8. So we'll trim off one of the rows. If you have a little bit of the threads at the end, you can hold it between your fingers taut so that it doesn't bend, and just run the lighter over it. Like so. And then add just a little bit of glue to one end. I don't put it inside the clip, I put it like right next to the clip. I think I have to put a little bit more glue on the spikes. I don't think I glued them enough, and I think that's why they keep turning all wonky. And then you're going to pull it up through the center to the other side. Run a little bit of glue on that end and glue it to the other side. And there we go. That piece of ribbon. If you have a piece of ribbon that just seems to be curling at the end, run your lighter over it and then press it down flat and it will flatten out. But there we go. The bow is finished. I am going to set that off to go stiffen, and it will be ready for the event. So there you guys go. Thank you for tuning in for another tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below in the comment section, or if you have a request for a bow tutorial or any tutorial related to bows, please feel free to also leave that in the comment section below. If you are not subscribed to the channel already, please click the subscribe button somewhere around here. And if you like the video, please click like and share. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you again for another tutorial. Bye!